Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Thanks so much for joining me. It's lovely to see you as always. So today is the first video in the Getting Creative with Junk Journal Ideas and Inspiration collaboration. I know that's a little bit of a mouthful, but all of the details about the collaboration are down below. So this is something Mandy and myself are doing for the Facebook group that we've recently launched. And some lovely ladies who all have YouTube channels, again, all linked down below, are helping us out by, we're running a kind of a challenge, kind of an event in the Facebook group. And so each week of June, each of us are doing a particular video, and it's all based around junk journal prompts. I will put all of the information down below. I have also recorded an intro video previous to this. So this week is the first week, and the prompt is perfect patterns. So really there's so many different things that you could do with this kind of a prompt. You know, you could use pattern scrapbook paper, you could use fabric. There's so many different things. You could even make your own patterns with you know, sprays and inks and things like that. I'm going to stick with what I know for my video, for my project, which is to use fabrics. So I thought, I've got a piece of A4 felt here, and I like to use these for journal covers. Not always, sometimes I will just use envelopes, but seeing as I have this in my stash, I might as well use it, I figure. So this is going to be the base of my journal cover today. And I basically raided my scrap bin. Now I could have done, you know, lots and lots of different things. I was thinking about doing a patchwork journal cover initially, but it just wasn't really coming together. So in the end, I thought I would stick with something that I was happy with, and we will just take it from there. All right, so I've got my piece of felt. And I've got this lovely scrap of pink fabric, which as you can see doesn't go the whole way across my felt. I could cut the felt down, but I don't really want to do that. So I think I'm just going to try and layer up some fabrics to just try to disguise that, I suppose. Okay, so I have got some embroidery anglaise, if that's what it's called, which again has a pattern on it. So I have to remember this is a pattern a pattern challenge. So I've got that, which might be nice. I've got this piece which was sent to me. I think my husband's great aunt sent this to me, and I'm thinking it's got a very, very nice border across it. I like to think this would be a pattern. So I'm thinking about having that go across the middle, because what it's doing is, if I place it correctly, it's hiding the join between this and the pink. That's what I'm thinking. And it gives you kind of this band, but then you still see the embroidery anglaise pattern behind. So we've got that. And then I've got another scrap, which comes from some different fabric, and this has got a pattern on. And I'm wondering whether to have this underneath somehow. Maybe if I put this completely underneath, like so. Because I quite like this over the plain pink. It gives it a pattern, doesn't it? Now I have to think about what to do about the two sides. So you can see I've got some felt. Now I do have somewhere some pink lace, and I'm wondering if there's a potential for this to maybe slip in there somewhere. So really this journal cover it's easy to do once you know what fabrics go with what and what colours you want to use, because I'm just laying things up, and at some point I'm just going to glue them down and stitch them once I've decided what I'm having. So although it's not you know, we've got patterns, so we've got 3 different patterns on here. The lace kind of has a pattern on it. It's not as eclectic as I was originally hoping for. I did think I was going to try and do some kind of patchwork journal, but it just wasn't coming together. So in the end I thought, you know, I'm just going to stick to what I know, which is this type of a look. Thinking if I go... My trouble is I'm not a fan of this, it's got like a border along this lace. So I am thinking about having this go down the edge instead. I think once I've got this figured out, we can just start gluing these down. It's going to be a very pretty journal cover, that's for sure. And as I say, there are some of the people getting involved with the collaboration. So do check out their videos. Each of us are doing something different through the week of June, as I mentioned. So I'm very excited to see what the other ladies come up with. I'm just trying to decide where to have this lace. I don't know whether to... I feel like I need to have it on top, but I don't really want it on top of the... Shall we see what it would look like as a journal cover if I were to fold this in half? Like so. So that would be the front cover. And then we would have this type of a thing going down there. So the question is, do we have it on top? Which does, it gives it an edging, doesn't it? Because we have this straight bit down here. I feel like it does help a little bit with finishing it off. Obviously we are going to have some lace down here. So normally I use, oops, pins everywhere. Normally I use this lace when I'm making journal covers, you know, down the spine. Probably just because I have lots of it, to be honest. So I just want to see if it would be, what this would look like if I were to have this along the edge as well. Sorry about my squeaky chair. Oops. Let's see. So we would have that. I feel like it's too much, isn't it? It's just unfortunately I don't have enough of the pink. So I feel like it's going to be one of those things where we may end up having either the lace down the side here, or we're not going to have lace to hide the binding, which I don't know how I feel about, because normally I do like to hide the strings, not for any other reason than just for looks, to be quite honest with you. But I just feel like it's closing it in too much. Oops. And then I was thinking about having a book plate on it, which actually does help. It doesn't feel quite so closed in. So I feel like we can get away with having the 2 types of lace. It's just because I really don't want to cut down the felt. So yeah, I think I'll go with that. What do you think? As I say, we've got a few different types of pattern on here. 3 different types of pattern. Technically the pink one does have pattern on it as well, but it's just a little more subtle. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to do my usual. I'm going to use my Oohoo stick to just dab the layers on. And all that does is it just keeps it in position long enough for me to take it to the sewing machine. Like, it's very temporary. So what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to stitch through all these different layers. somehow. I just have to decide how to go about it, because obviously it's very, you know, it's not just one type of fabric to cover the whole thing. It's very, you know, lots going on, isn't there? Different pieces of fabric and stuff. I'm going to try and pull this pink one as straight as I can. And it's going to have quite raggedy edges because, as you can see, I'm not going over the felt. I'm just sticking within that felt line, which is not normally how I would do a cover. But when you're just simply using scraps or, you know, using small pieces like this, sometimes you just have to, you know, build it up as you go, really. I'm just making sure everything is down nice and neatly and straight and not wrinkly. And then we want to get some glue on here. Just checking this, because this is sort of like a border, so I want to make sure more than anything this one is definitely straight. Doesn't really want to stick down too well, but as I say, it's just enough just to get it to the sewing machine. If I was doing this without a sewing machine, it would be a little bit trickier, admittedly, but not impossible. All I would do is just use a Fabri-Tac type glue and have it all, you know, all glued down properly. As I say, what I'm doing here is just temporary. Okay, right, let's have a little look at what we would do next. Oops, what's that? Just a bit of pink fluff. Okay, so we need to do a little bit of trimming in most places. So I'm just going to come along here. I'm only doing it roughly, because once I've finished the stitching, I'll do it properly then. I'm so sorry about my chair. It just will not stop squeaking. So I've just got a little bit of an overhang on all sides. As I say, I will cut it neater once I've done the stitching. That'll be the last part. So I will end up with some frayed edges, but that's okay with me. It will just be along the top and bottom that you'll have a slight fraying going on, but with it being a junk journal and everything, I'm okay with that. Okay. I'm just trying to decide whether to pop the lace down the side now or after. I think I'll do it, no, I will do it now. Should I do it now? Thinking. I suppose I could just get it all done in one go, couldn't I? Alright, let's pop some more glue down. So we're going to run it down here. Okay. The concentration. I'm just following the line of the felt. See, the felt is exactly A4, size A4. So I can use it as a guide. That's that one. Do I have enough for this side is the question. I think Mandy from Sunflowers and Doors sent me this lace. I think. And then I'll have that on the other side. So front and back cover will kind of match. Okay. As I say, just temporary, just to hold it in place. I always use my Uhu stick when I'm doing this type of a thing. Fabri-Tac is just overkill if you're going to be sewing it. all the Uhu stick does is it, or glue stick, just a good glue stick, it just keeps it in place long enough for you to get it over to your machine. Just tacks it in place basically. Alrighty. Just make sure we're straight. Okay, so how am I going to sew this? Obviously I can go right the way around the edges like this. My trouble is that I don't want to stitch across these pretty flowers. So I think I'll have to do a zigzag stitch will be fine. And then I just need to decide about the middle. Obviously we have this piece here. I'm thinking I could do a straight stitch across, but I'm not sure I really want to. So if we fold it over like it was a journal cover, so it'll be something like that. These will be a little bit floppy, but I think that's okay. Just as long as it's stitched down okay, I think that will be fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it across to my sewing machine and do a zigzag stitch the whole way around the outside, including the bottom, but it's going to be a small zigzag so that it's not too in your face. And then I'll get everything trimmed down, and then we'll be in a position where we can line it with some pretty scrapbook paper, and of course we want to put our book plate on before we do that. So I'm just going to hit pause whilst I take this across to my sewing machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the stitching is all done. As you can see, we're looking very pretty. The only trouble is I had a couple of areas of movement, which, you know, to be fair, normally always happens when I sew. So I've got a little bit of puckering here, and unfortunately this lace just completely slipped. Whereas this one went down, you know, not perfectly, but, you know, more or less straight. But, you know, with junk journals, all things can be amended, made better, whatever. So I have got some lace. I've got some thin lace. This is really the only thin lace that I've got in white, because I kind of want it to match the white in the background. So I'm thinking I might just glue this along the edge. Again, it's really just to give it that neat edge. And I'll do that on the front and back, I think. So let's do that. And then I need to have a think about, I need to have a think about the inside of the journal in terms of scrapbook paper. And we want to do the book plate and things like that. I have also got another journal cover that I thought whilst I was at the sewing machine, whilst I had a bunch of scraps out, I thought I might as well make up another one quickly. Not exactly the same because I didn't have the exact same scraps, but similar. So I'll show you that in a moment as well. Just get this glued down. Okay. There's the end. There we go. Yeah, so I've just glued that on just with some Fabri-Tac, or, you know, Beacon, the equivalent of Fabri-Tac. Might need to give it a little bit of extra glue in, but I'm sure it'll be on there fine. I can always go in with a little bit of extra stitching afterwards if I feel like it needs it. Because to be honest, I probably need to do a little bit of extra stitching anyway, because I normally like to, you know, if I'm going to line a journal with scrapbook paper or something, then I normally like to, I normally like to stitch around it. In this case, we'll have to see, but yeah, normally do. Okay, let's just squeeze that bit of lace in. So yeah, more lace than I had intended, but that's okay. It's technically another pattern, because this is a pattern week, as it were. I'm just trying to remember what next week is. Can't quite remember. All the information is down below and in the Facebook group for the challenge. Okie dokie. So that just gives it a little bit of a neater edge there, look. Very lacy colour, so a little bit of extra lace isn't going to hurt, is it? I don't think so anyway. You can never have too much lace, can you? So we have that. We're looking really nice. So of course this is actually open up here, but I don't worry about things like that when I'm making a journal cover, because, you know, yes, all right, this is all like open and stuff, but you know, you're not going to put your hand up there, really, are you? I mean, you might, but you know, it's not going to affect how the journal works or anything. Just making sure I've glued the lace straight. Okay, wow, we're looking very pretty. So that is that. So we need to think about a book plate. Now, I have two options of book plates. I've got extra fancy, or I've got just, you know, plain normal. I do have to bear in mind where the lace is going to go along the spine if we decide to go down that route, but if we do, then obviously I do want to account for that. I think that should still be okay. I prefer it without, but equally I do like to hide my binding. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with this fancy one. I mean, you know, if we're gonna go all fancy on the cover, we might as well, eh? Right, so I'm gonna do this now, because obviously the next step is to line the cover with some scrapbooking paper or something. Okay, so I'm gonna get the first one in first. And then that way I can straighten up. These are some, the book plates are just cheap ones off eBay. I think I got them from, or Amazon. They weren't very expensive, and I got about 25, I think. Something like that. And then the brads are Tim Holtz brads. They've got little screws on them that Mandy from Sunflowers and Doors kindly sent to me. Now, sorry if I just have to bring this up, make sure I'm getting it in a straight line. Okay, I'm going for it. Okay, oops. Actually remembered to do the book plate at the right time. If you've watched my channel for a while, then you'll know I almost always think about the book plate after it's too late. In terms of, you know, I've done all the sewing and whatnot. Like lined it and everything, and then I have to hide brad legs, but not this time. There. I think I'm happy with that. And might be a little bit skew-iff, but only slightly. What do you think? That is my patterned journal cover. So as I say, on the inside I'll line it with some scrapbooking paper, and then imagine, unfortunately, I might need to stitch around it again for that scrapbook paper, or I'll just glue it in really well. I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm not gonna rush today to fanny about with that. So either way, we are very, very pretty journal cover, don't you think? So if we remember, we have got the pattern here, which is the broderie anglaise. We've got this band across the middle, which is a pattern. We've got the pink fabric. I know you can't quite see it, but it does have a slight pattern, ever so slight. It's not plain, so it is patterned, just a little bit more subtle perhaps. And then of course we've got this extra bit of fabric here, which is different from this one, to give these flowers going up and down. And then technically we have the patterns from the extra lace. So I feel like I've done the challenge. It's one of those things you're never quite sure, are you? I mean, perfect patterns as a prompt, I could have made anything. You know, I went straight for fabric, and to be fair, journal covers, I feel like, I wouldn't say I'm an expert in them at all, far from it, but I do feel like they are kind of my forte, in terms of I do feel like I can pull a journal cover together pretty quick and have it look really pretty. So you know how we all like our individual things. I do think journal covers is one of them for me. I really do enjoy making them. Okay, so that is that. As I say, I do need to line it with some scrapbook paper. I mean, I don't have to, but I probably will, just to give it a little bit more structure, I think, because this is quite thick felt and it's got, it's got something to it, but I do feel like it probably needs more. Anyway, that is my patterned journal cover for the first week of our month of journal prompts. So yeah, as I say, with the challenge, whether you're in the Facebook group or not, the idea is that you follow the prompts and you can make whatever you like, whatever comes to your mind when you see the particular prompt that you have each week. As I say, this week is patterns, or perfect patterns. And yeah, this was what came into my head. So I hope you like it. This will pop up again in the future sometime. I'm not ready to work on this journal just yet, because I've got lots of other projects currently on the go. But this is something that I can be working on any time of year. So this one will come up again, I'm sure. I'm just faffing. You know me, I faff a lot, don't I? But yeah, I'm having pinks, and I think I already have a kit. I want to say it's called the Secret Garden kit from the Journal Boat, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I have a feeling I have a kit for it already that I bought when I very first started junk journaling, and then I never used it. I printed it, I don't think I ever used it. So I'll probably use that kit for this journal, perhaps. I've also got a Stamperia pad that I think would suit these colours really well. So this will come up again in the future, just not just yet, because I need to finish my current projects. But I really hope that you like it. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, even if it did go not quite according to plan. But I think we've salvaged it, don't you? All right then, I'll say goodbye for now, and I'll see you on the next video. As I say, if you are taking part in the challenge in the Facebook group, then all of the information, more than you've had in this video, will be in the Facebook group, and everything is linked down below. So do check it out, and thank you again to our collaborators who are helping us this month. They are all linked below. Lovely ladies. That's Janet, Tammy, obviously myself and Mandy, and we've also got Carol Ann as well. So everyone is linked down below, so please do check them out. And I hope you enjoy our month of prompts for the month of June. All right then. Thanks everyone, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye for now.